Hi everyone, my name is Lisa. Most of you know me from H.E.A.R.T, Florida. I'm here to share a few things. This is my story. My son was sent to prison, life without parole, as a kid at just 18 years old. For a crime he didn't commit, and even the court acknowledged he didn't do it. He didn't have a gun. He didn't pull the trigger. He never harmed anyone. But he was there. And because of Florida's little-known felony murder rule, they charged him with murder. A murder he never committed. The state knew who the shooter was, but they gave my son the sentence, the weight, the life sentence, the rest of his natural life behind bars. The state tried him 3 times. The first conviction was overturned because of a judicial error. The second trial ended in mistrial. One of the jurors later admitted they had seen the case on the news. And the third time, they pressured my son with a plea deal. 30 years. Knowing he didn't kill anyone. He took the deal. It meant he had a release date. He served 20 years in a cage, to be followed by 10 years probation. Now he's free. He's a grown man, but he's not the same. So, what if the system stole your child? Not just their freedom, but who they were meant to become. You raise a kind-hearted, caring boy, and one day he's gone. Not because he broke the law, but because he was there when someone else committed the worst crime known to man. A life was taken. 20 years. No weapon, never harmed a soul. The court even said so. But because he was there, they took everything. It rewrites a life that may never have needed changing. And now, I don't even know who he'd be, who he could have become. When he walked out of that gate just a few short months ago, I met a stranger. The justice system didn't just take 20 years. It took birthdays, graduations, first jobs, the chance to be 21, 25. I'll never know who my son was meant to become. But I'll never stop telling the world what they did. Part of me is still buried in those courtroom benches, in the cold prison visitation rooms, in the countless sleepless nights worrying if he was okay, if and how he was surviving. You see, the system just didn't take his freedom. It took the version of him that I'll never get to meet. They sentenced a boy, a kind, sweet, loving kid, to a future he never chose. They didn't just incarcerate him, they erased him. I served that time right alongside of him. Nights not sleeping, days not eating, sacrificing my sanity. Locked in a prison in my own mind, doing a different version of hard time. Always worrying and wondering if he was okay, if he was safe, if anyone was hurting him. Knowing that my son and who he could have become was now erased. And what came back after all those years was a man shaped by survival, not love. This is what wrongful conviction does. We don't just lose years, we lose them. And part of ourselves as we do a different kind of time. In our hearts and in our minds. I needed answers. I worked full time. I went to school at night. I studied our criminal justice system. I met countless families with a loved one incarcerated during many, many of those visits in those cold visitation rooms. And many of those loved ones were incarcerated for crimes they didn't commit. I became an advocate for change, for criminal justice reform. I joined forces with other moms and sisters and wives. We talked to lawmakers. We traveled to Tallahassee during legislative session, presented good bills that would have brought significant change. And one thing that I did learn is that our system is dysfunctionally flawed. Those movies and TV shows that you see don't come close to showing what it's really like inside a broken system. Prisons with no air conditioning, in a state with no parole. It is absolutely disgusting what our system does to some people. So the question begs for an answer. Why do bad things happen to good people? To every mother who sat in a courtroom watching her child be sentenced for something he didn't do, to every mother who waited by a phone for that 30-minute call from a prison, to every mother who sat in that cold visitation room across from that once sweet, loving boy you raised, to every mother who knows how it feels to be helpless and enraged and broken all at once. You are not alone. They didn't just steal our child's freedom. They stole who they were meant to become. And that's why I'm creating this space. A place where we can tell the truth. A place where mothers, families, loved ones speak what the court never let them say. A place where struggling in silence ends and the stories begin. And hopefully some healing. It's called Just Tell Me Why, a podcast for the forgotten, for the falsely accused, for the ones who came home changed, for the ones who haven't come home, and the ones still fighting for their chance to walk out that gate. But it's not just about prison and injustice. It's about the everyday struggles too. Like the idiot who cut you off in traffic, then flips you the bird like you're the problem because you honked at him. The woman scrolling on her phone while driving with her kids in the back seat. The man on his phone driving 15 under the speed limit. Or how about the lady in the grocery store blocking the aisle with her cart, completely oblivious to the world around her? The moments that sometimes make you want to scream or cry or just walk away. Because life is hard, even when you're not in a courtroom. So this podcast is for all of it. The broken justice system and the broken shopping carts. If you've ever asked yourself how this could happen, if you've ever screamed at a system that doesn't listen, if you've ever felt like you don't belong in a world this chaotic, then this is your story too. Come, sit with me, listen, and maybe, finally, someone will tell us why. Just Tell Me Why podcast will air their debut episode August 1st, and you will be able to find it anywhere that you can find podcasts: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, just to name a few. And I hope to see you all back here. Thank you. God bless.